Hi, everybody. This is Dr. Cynthia Mayo coming to you again from 3rd John Living Well, where we have been exploring the Bible verse 3rd John 2, which says, Beloved, I pray that you may prosper in every way, that your body may be keep well, and even as I know your soul keeps well and prospers. I love that. Your soul keeps well, your body may keep well and prosper. And we know prospering, as we've been talking about it for several months now, is more than just financially. Your prosperity is your peace. Your prosperity is in your relationships. We talk about prospering, thriving, and flourishing. And we do that in not just money. I know there are a lot of people that believe, oh, yes, but I believe I should prosper and flourish and thrive in my relationships as a spouse, as a parent, as a student, as a caregiver, in my occupation, in ministry. I should prosper. I should flourish. What did he say? He said, your soul keeps well. I should keep well and prosper. So, yes, prosperity is more than it. And I don't teach against it by any means because God does want us to prosper financially. We got bills, as my daughter says, they got bills to pay. We got bills. We have financial obligations. And so that money answers those things. But our prosperity is not by no means limited to money, cars, power, prestige. It's not. Our prosperity is important to God. But he also wants us to prosper in what I said, the very first thing I said, in our peace. And there have been so many incidents in the past few weeks, days and weeks and months that can disrupt our prosperity, our peace, where we're not thriving and flourishing in our peace in the midst of the chaos and confusion. But God says, I want you to prosper. One way we do that is by way of his word. He told Joshua, you know what? In Joshua 1, he said, you keep this word before your eyes, you put it in your ears, you read it, you speak it, you walk it, you act it out. This is what you need in order to prosper. So his word is like key to our prosperity, along with our obedience as believers. Well, having said all of that, our children are not at peace, not in this day and time. And that's a sad thing. We don't want our children to be anxious and fearful and depressed and have suicidal thoughts. And with this latest shooting in Rhode Island at Brown University, when I heard it, my heart just sank because I'm like, God, how are these kids going to make it? You know, it's how are they going to learn when their mind is running like every sound they hear, every motion they see past their classroom door. If someone's running down a hallway, that can create anxiety. And this is what they live with. This is what they have to cope with every day. And it's not no longer just in the middle schools. It's no longer just elementary schools. We got college level incidents. And Brown is not the first university to have that issue. But there's an article that I found I wanted to share with you on just a few little tidbits to help us, to help our students, help our children. One thing is kind of cute, and my daughter laughs at me all the time. She's like, Mom, you're always sharing stuff from when you were in school. I said, yeah, because that's how different the times are. I'm only 66, y'all. I'm not that far out of high school. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But But I think about when I was in middle school, no, elementary school, we had safety patrol. I was a safety patrol. I had my little badge and my little sash, and it said safety patrol across it. And we would walk the halls and make sure everybody got in class. And the teachers all knew you're late for class, you were on safety patrol. So that was something that we had. We did not have police officers. We did not have metal detectors. We had teachers, and that was it, and the safety patrol. If there was a fight, It was a fist fight, or not a fight, so you could tell. But there were no knives, there were no guns, there were no other things that could be used as a weapon against another child or a teacher. And you dare not raise your hand to a teacher or your voice. There were consequences when you got home if you did, if you thought you were that grown. So, but think that's how much things have changed in the few years that I've been out of high school. Do not make jokes, you all at my age too. But anyway, and I'm thankful to be this age, believe me. The article talks about how to help your kids cope with school shootings, and it's a very timely article. He talks very briefly, less than a paragraph. He talks about try to reassure their child that they truly are safe at school. Remind them that there is, I think it was a resource officer they call them now. I just call them police officer. That they're law enforcement. There is a presence now. Um, oh, this is one of the things my kids laugh at me so hard when I talk about how they have active shooter drills at school now. When we were in school, you had to get under the desk because somebody just dropped a nuclear bomb. That was our drill. That was our drill. But now, you got to teach kids, get behind the desk, close the door, turn the lights off, do this, do this, do this. Where to run, where to go, what to do. Can you imagine as a child if you're going to school and they say we have a drill, we have an active shooter drill? Can you imagine how these children feel? It makes my chest tight just to think about what that's like. My kids have been out of school for a few years too, and they didn't have that. There may be the occasional call, a threat, bomb threat, but active shooter, no. It's not that it's that new, but they didn't have drills like they do now. And can you imagine you're sitting at your desk and you see somebody run down the hall, and the next thing you hear is some alarm going off, and the next thing you hear is get down on the floor. I just can't imagine. Like I said, it makes my chest tight to think about that. And then they have to try to learn. The teachers have to stand there and teach. And in their minds, can you imagine what their stress level is like? They've got to protect themselves and the children and the office staff right at the front, generally. So there's so many things in motion that will cause your child to have a stressful day, a stressful year. One thing, a young man was interviewed at Brown, and he made mention of how he felt. I think he was a second or a third year student, I think, but he thought about the newbies that came in, the first year students, and they fresh out of high school, he said, and this is what they have to have happen during their first year. So that can affect them for the rest of college. That one incident. So it's a challenge. We talked about before creating that safe space and timing when you talk to your child. One thing I like that this writer said, when you're talking to your kid, first listen and allow them to express what they feel the way they need to express it, which means, my lovely saints, there may be a few choice words that you think, oh, no. Act like you didn't say those same words, okay? Don't get brand new. We have said those same words. But if this is the way that child has to express the fear, the anger, the rage, the depression, allow that space. That is their safe space. Leave them alone. Let them talk, okay? You can talk about the language later, but right now, they just need to get it out. They need to exhale all of this that they've been feeling. And we don't need to sit there and go, but Jesus is listening. Yeah, and he's crying because he feels the pain of that child. And you worried about the words that they're saying. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to behave myself. So give them that safe space. In that safe space, words are free. Okay? Words are free. He talks about observing your child's emotional state. Do they seem depressed? Take note of their behavior. Do they come straight in? Don't speak to anyone. throw their stuff on the floor, run to their room, and don't come out for till dinner. Now, that for some kids, that's a normal, everyday activity. But for other kids, that's a turn from their normal behavior. That's off for them. And that's when you need to think, okay, something's going on. Okay. Again, allow them time, allow them space to express how they're feeling in their words, not yours. Okay. And remember, an elementary school is going a child, school age child is going to speak differently than a middle schooler, and a middle schooler is going to talk differently than a senior, and a senior is going to talk differently than a college age kid. So you got to give them space. You got to give them space. Pay attention to their sleeping habits. Are they not sleeping a good solid 7 to 9 hours at night? Pay attention to their eating habits. Are they still eating the normal stuff like junk food? Or are they not eating at all? Are they overeating? Okay. Just little things that deviate from their normal behavior are red flags for us, okay? And when you do sit down with them and they talk about the incident, I love what he says. First, ask what they already know. And that's very important because that's your foundation for the conversation to begin. Ask what they already know. It's like if you're sitting down with your middle schooler or your elementary school kid and they begin to talk about sex education and you ready to sit down and give them a whole litany of stuff. And if you ask them what they know, it's so simple. And it will save you from the embarrassment of trying to explain what you feel they need to know. When they're already telling you, this is what they taught in school, this is what I know, and they accept it, and that's the end of it. Until they get older and they're ready to handle more. I found that amusing from myself. But yeah, ask them what they already know and ask them to be straightforward and direct and to be as graphic as they need to be. If they've been a part of a school shooting, um, they may need to give very vivid detail about how this person looked as they lay on the floor. Um, I thought this person was dead. I didn't know what to do. I don't know anything about dead people, but they looked dead. There was a lot of blood everywhere. There were gun shell casings all over the floor, and I was afraid. Allow them, because it's like to get it out, to get it out. Allow them, allow them, and acknowledge that you understand it's a very uncomfortable thing to talk about, but acknowledge also that they're free to say whatever they need to say in whatever terms they need to put it, and that's fine. Acknowledge that you understand their fear, their anxiety, and their depression. I told you before, do not poo-poo these children when they start to talk. I've done that in the past. I've kind of like poo-poo. I don't want to hear that poo-poo, and that was wrong. So I've had to correct and not do that, even though they're grown folk, and but still, even as adults, I try not to poo-poo what they're saying, or dismiss, because that way you'll miss a key thing that you need to hear when you already got in your mind, oh, they're going to say this, they're going to say that. Give them time to breathe, give them time to grieve. If your child is not one to talk, ask them would they like to just write it down. Ask them would they like to draw, especially if the younger child, draw something to express what they've seen and how they feel about it. That's one outlet. Ask them if they would like to record a note, a personal note, DM you about it. That's okay. That's okay if they want to use technology, because they really may not feel like sitting, face to face. But if they use technology to record whatever it is they're feeling, that's good and that's okay. The main thing is we want them to speak and let it out. Okay. Let them know that it's okay if they don't feel okay right now. And let them know that the fear, the anxiety, and the depression are all normal responses to all of the events that have been happening in their world. But give them keys and give them clues and information to help them process everything. Don't allow them to sit and watch a lot of the news. I can't even watch it. I get my local weather and my local news and a little bit of the national news, and I've had enough for the day. I've pretty much had enough, unless there's some type of alert that I need to be aware of. It's not a necessity for me to watch. I ended up watching TMC the other day. They had a old movie with what's his name? I can't think of his name. He played the incredible Mr. Limpet. I'm showing my age, y'all. But it was a funny movie, but it was something lighthearted to start the day with. In the situations where children or teachers or staff have lost their life, there is a sense of grief, not only for the adults, but for the children, because many of them may know of a child or may be a good friend of a child, or it may be a favorite teacher or faculty worker, and that they need a way to release that grief. Let them know the grief is okay, the grief is normal, and it's a journey. Please, again, do not poo-poo or dismiss what they're feeling. Affirm and understand. Try to the best of your abilities to understand. You know how you feel when you've lost a friend or a family member that you were very fond of, and especially if it was an unexpected passing. That is stressful. Deal with your children about depression. Ask them, do you feel depressed? Now, if they're younger children, you may want to use the term sad, or they may express sadness as, I'm angry. Angry how? Can you tell me about the anger? We got to be psychologists and counselors and therapists as parents. We've got to do the homework to go out of our way to learn about these things that our kids deal with. Don't just sit up in church. I'm going to go there. And so they have the word of God, and that's enough. Yes, they do have it, but they're also children. And we're the ones that are supposed to be skillful to help them navigate the waters of life. And there are always ripples, and sometimes it's more than a ripple. Sometimes it's a wave. Sometimes it's a tsunami emotionally for them. And we need to be prepared as parents, as church leaders, as youth and children's church leaders, to help the students deal with the emotions. And in church, why is it we don't talk about depression with young people? Why we don't talk about sadness? Why don't we talk about grief? We act as though that's not a part of their world. It is a part of their world. It was a part of Jesus' world. Did he not grieve when he found out that Lazarus, his good friend, had passed and was dead? I'm sorry, my fur babies see something. I apologize for the loudness. But anyway, my goodness. Hi, guys. I do apologize for having to pause because I was right at the end and my fur babies caught a glimpse of a squirrel or something out there. Anyway, he was talking about grief. I'll just close with this. If your child is suffering from prolonged episodes of depression, if there, any changes in their behavior that's lasting for an extended period of time, I highly recommend that you seek out some type of counseling or therapy for them. Do not let your children go and carrying weights that cause their emotional well-being to be challenged. There's no sin in counseling, y'all. I cannot say this enough. People of color, please. Therapy is not of the devil. Therapy is not a sin. Sometimes we need someone outside of the church that can see, okay, maybe there's a chemical imbalance that's going on, and they can refer you to psychiatrists who can prescribe medications to help your body get back in balance. Okay? Sometimes children will be more open with a therapist than they would be with you or a family member or a church. And I was talking about church, okay? Please, please, I got to say this again. Pastors, church leaders, prepare your leadership to do counseling in your church. There's been such a dramatic increase in the need for mental wellness workers, counselors, therapists, coaches. These are great needs right now, and there is no shame in it. I'm thankful that God has allowed man the information that we need to help us in our psychological realm, in our social realm, in our physical, our mental, all of these areas. I'm glad that there's information where they teach you about the different personality types and they understand this, so then they know how to work with you. I'm thankful for medicine that can help the body when it's not able to create the chemicals that's needed to maintain a stability in the body, in the mind. Okay? It's not a sin. Jesus said, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Sometimes they just need to lay on the couch and just rest. So teachers, personnel, if you serve in your church, in children's church or youth church, do not be afraid to do a session on sadness, on depression, on suicidal thoughts. You may be surprised at how that will help one of the young people. And it'll take the shame and the stigma away from seeking counsel. They may come to you after service and said, "How you know I was feeling this way? I didn't know who to go to. I didn't want to talk to my mom because she was just going to give me a whole lot of scripture. I didn't want to talk to my pastor because he don't give me a sermon. But now I know I can reach out." Have resources. Do the homework. Please find resources that you can give to your staff that will help them to deal with the situations that they come up encounter by way of the kids in children's church and in youth church and the college children, college adults, young adults. Do not just sit there and give them a sermon. We've got to learn to meet these kids' needs where they are daily, okay? Yes, I'm still going to tell you that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. But I'm also going to tell you that if there's something that you can do on your end, then let's do it. Train your ministers to counsel. There are resources. Look them up where you can get someone to come in and do a training session for your ministers so that as they minister at the altar, they will quickly pick up on, this person sounds like this is above my pay grade. And it sounds like they would benefit from some counseling. Okay? Don't let your people sit in church and suffer. Where we are right now, there's an uptick in domestic violence with children, anger, rage. My nephew a couple of weeks ago, it was around Thanksgiving, I think it was, and he says, just was what I was thinking about. When you are in your car, mind your business. Don't be looking at nobody in that car. Don't be blowing your horn at nobody, unless it's to prevent someone from being hit by a car. Don't mess with people, because back in the day, they might flip you the bird, but now they'll flip out their Magnum, okay? They'll get out their car and bust your windows out. So mind your business. Listen to Psalm 91 and mind your business, okay? That's all I have. It's kind of a heavy subject, and I'm going to continue to look up information that will be helpful to us starting conversations with our young people and to help you if you are a children's church, you serve there. Again, don't be afraid to talk about and ask that hard question, how is everyone feeling today? You know what? And peer counseling is great. You have may have another teenager in the room that maybe I've been there, seen that, done that, that could help another person, one of their peers. They could help them. No, we don't have to know everything. We don't. There's so many other resources. And we need to begin to tap into those resources, even within your church. You may have psychologists, psychiatrists. You may have other types of therapists and counselors. Okay? Tap into them and do the research, do the homework, find out where counseling is being taught. Also, don't be so prideful and hard-headed that you don't also teach safety, how to evacuate the children, how to evacuate your people in the sanctuary safely, what actions are to be taken should that um, shooter incident become a part of your service one day. Train your security people, train your ministers, train your men, train your youth church, your children's church leaders, what to do. Okay? Don't be so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. Be wise as a serpent. Make sure you have these things in place for your congregation's safety. Amen. Amen. So I am done with my sermonette for today. And I really do hope you guys are really taken to heart. Again, as always, like, share, comment. If you have a question, ask. If I know the answer, I will be more than willing to share it. If I don't, try to find out, and I will challenge you to do the same thing. See if you can find the answer, and we can, converse, dialogue back and forth on that. So anyway, until we meet again, beloved, I pray that you may prosper in every way, that your body may keep well, even as I know your soul keeps well and prospers. Until we meet again, God bless. Take care. And if you need to share this, go to my Third John Living Well Facebook page. You can also catch me on YouTube. I generally post on there, and it is a public thing, Third John Living Well. So you guys take care, be safe, be wise, okay? And love your kids. Don't forget to tell them. Don't just show them. Tell them and show them. Make them feel safe, make them feel loved. All right, guys, take care and enjoy your holiday.